and we'll tell you who he replaces in due course. Ball is thrown in by Hugh O'Kane. Killashee go on the attack. They were very impressive on the attack. Scored an awful lot of points from play last week against Ballymahon, and they've a chance perhaps after less than a minute of the action, just 20 seconds in fact, a chance for them to take the lead. And it's Chris Deneen, the big full forward. He was very impressive against Ballymahon last week. I've had the pleasure of seeing both sides in the championship. Sean Connollys lost to Ardemoidu in the group stages. I was at that game, but I saw a very impressive Killashee performance against Ballymahon last week, conceding 3 goals in the opening quarter and still going on to win that game with 3 or 4 points to spare, or maybe even 5. Goal kick for Sean Connollys. It'll be taken by Stephen Murtha. And nobody really making a run for Murtha, so he's going to have to kick this one long, I think. That's exactly what he does. Out towards the far side of the field, where it's won by Dylan Farrell. Still Dylan on the score sheet quite a bit last week against Ballymahon. He'll be looking to do the same today. David Buckley. Buckley lays the ball outside to Enda McPartland. McPartland in again, this time towards Francis Dolan. Good turn from Dolan, but doesn't complete it. Looks up and shoots, and that might have gone to the right. In fact, it has gone over the crossbar. Looked to be wide, but a very good kick from Francis Dolan. That's the opening score of the game, and Killashee taking up from where they left off last week with a flurry of points against Ballymahon, and they've grabbed their first point of the afternoon from their second attack. And just a little under 2 minutes on the watch. And already Stephen Murtha, the busier of the 2 goalkeepers, the Sean Connollys netminder, makes another kick out, and again he'll be looking to find one of his men, because the Killashee, if they win these kickouts, they're going to attack quite swiftly. They have possession. James Willis lays it off. Jared Evans came on last week against Ballymahon and was impressive in the last 10 minutes. Gets a start this afternoon. Willis lays it off to Killian Lee, a former Longford County player, playing it inside to Enda McPartland. Back to Killian Lee once more. Still Killian Lee, takes a lot of steps, but the referee judges that the pass was illegal. Eugene Murtha doesn't start for Sean Connollys. His place is taken by Ronan McGrail, so it's number 20 for number 10 on the Sean Connollys side. And thanks to the right hand woman Denise O'Flaherty for her everlasting assistance here on these live streams as we bring the action of the Longford Intermediate and Senior Championships. Here's the aforementioned McGrail, Ronan McGrail, laying it back inside towards Conor Blessington. Back to McGrail once more. McGrail breaks the tackle, but it's a poor ball inside from McGrail, easily dealt with by Killashee, and it's with David Buckley, who plays it inside towards Johnny Casey. Played last Saturday in the hurling semi-final for Longford Slashers, as did his defensive partner Keelan Cox. Both played for Longford Slashers. They have a county hurling final to look forward to. They'd so much like to add an intermediate final to that hurling final. Here's Killian Lee. Killashee looking much the better side in the opening exchanges. That's going to drop short, is it? Referee, or I should say the goalkeeper, gets a hand on it. It was an awkward one. There's a swirling breeze that's pulling the ball over to the right hand side, and Stephen Murtha in goals for Sean Connollys, forced to move to his left and bat that one out for a 45. It could have been so much more dangerous, and it didn't look to pose any problems at all for Sean Connollys. So obviously Killashee intent on lorrying ball in. They'll probably do that quite a bit this afternoon. They got great success from kicking quick ball into the forward line last week. Dylan Farrell, difficult kick against the breeze, swirling breeze. Farrell kicks. That's a very good looking kick. That's a beauty from Dylan Farrell. A second point for Killashee, and already Killashee have asserted their dominance on this game. Sean Connollys very slow to start. They were very quick out of the traps against Ardemoidu in the group game, But this afternoon it's Killashee who've started brightly, and they lead by 2 points to no score, and deserving to be 2 points in front. Sean Connollys have only had the ball once in the opposing half of the field, and we've almost 5 minutes of the action played. And again Killashee win clean possession under the stand. Michael Farrell, there was a doubt about him starting this afternoon, plays a dangerous looking ball inside towards Francie Dolan. Dolan gets there, knocks it out. But in the end, two Connollys men, the goalkeeper and the number 7, Gregory Masterson, work together. And in the end, it's knocked out over the line off a Killashee man. It'll be a line ball to Sean Connollys. Sean Connollys will want to get into scoring territory fairly soon. They have Desi Reynolds, of course, the county star, at full forward this afternoon. But they might have to bring him further out the field to win possession, vital possession. Ball is played in and it's won well by Daniel Reynolds. That's a brother of Desi. Plays it inside to Joe Heaney. Still Joe Heaney goes to ground, looks up and shoots. That's going to go out harmlessly left and wide. And you'd question Sean Connollys' decision to start Desi Reynolds at full forward. He's a real playmaker for them. He'd win vital possession around the middle of the field, but stuck in at full forward when they can't get the ball in there, that might be a bad decision, and maybe one that Sean Connollys will change in the near future, because if they leave their best player isolated in at full forward, I don't think they'll win this game. Let's see if they make that change. Here's Willis, plays the ball into the centre. It's won back there by Sean O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan very impressive in the group game against Ardamaidu. And now Connollys can launch an attack. Ball played into the danger zone to Daniel Reynolds. Daniel Reynolds looks up and shoots, but that one's going to stay out right and wide. And that's a first chance for the Sean Connollys men, a first wide for them. But Killashee with 3 attacks and 2 scores, they lead by 2 points to no score. Here's Killian Lee. He's got pace to burn. He's got great skill as well and great vision. Very seldom wastes possession. Gives the ball inside again towards the number 10, Willie Skelly, into the centre, but that one's going to be batted away by Sean Connollys, but won again by Enda McPartlin. Back to Killian Lee once more, and you can see the space that Killashee are creating for themselves. Sean Connollys are pulling men back, and it's allowing Killashee to move the ball laterally across the pitch and wait for openings to happen. Here's Jack McGann. Still Jack McGann. He'll get it back, turns inside, chance of a score, looks up and shoots, and this time has he got the range? Indeed he has. A third point. A third point for Killashee. First point for Jack McGann. You can just see McGann getting the ball back in close quarters, turning and shooting. It looked like it might have gone out to the right, but it obviously stayed inside the right hand post and over the crossbar. And Killashee leading by 3 points to no score and looking very much the better side in the opening exchanges here. We're just short of 8 minutes on the watch, halfway through the first quarter. Stephen Murtha kicks out. This time Connollys retain their own ball. That's a good, in fact it's a hard challenge by Michael Farrell, and Michael Farrell may have come off the worst for wears for that challenge. Free is awarded to Sean Connollys, and again another one by the referee Hugh O'Kane. Ball played inside to Desi Reynolds. Now this is where they need to find Reynolds in this danger zone. This is the first opportunity they've had. Reynolds is pulled. That'll be a free from outside. And I suppose you'd question your own knowledge when you see Murtha, or when you see Reynolds getting the ball so close to goal. You can see why they want to play him in there, but they've got to get quick ball into him. That was the first time they did it in the game so far. Almost 9 minutes on the watch, and a chance for Sean Connollys to get their first point of the afternoon. So certainly if they can get ball into Reynolds, he'll keep them in this game. But it's getting that ball in that has proven the problem so far. And there's just 9 minutes gone on the watch. So the kick is converted. Simple free really. One that was more difficult to miss perhaps than score. And Stephen Lynch gets his first point of the afternoon. Another man who was impressive against Ardamaidu in the group stages. In fact, this intermediate championship has been very entertaining from start to finish. We're at the second semi-final stage. Who's going to play Ardamaidu in the final? Killashee, they seem up for it, a little bit more up for it after 10 minutes perhaps than Sean Connollys, but plenty of time to go here. And McPartland plays the ball inside, and Connollys now beginning to group back in numbers and beginning to deal with what Killashee are throwing at them, and now beginning to move the ball through the hand. But again, it's that idea of getting a quick ball into the forward line. It's not working for them. It's cut out easily by Killashee, who certainly seem to have maybe the measure in terms of pace on this Connollys team, but you've got to take scores as well. Here's Killian Lee, 45 out from goal. Still Killian steps inside, looks to give, but in the end holds possession, looks up and shoots, and that's a super score from Killian Lee. A 4th point of the evening for the Killashee men, and it looked as if the referee Hugh O'Kane was about to blow his whistle and penalise Lee for over-carrying, but he allowed play to continue, and Killian Lee made absolutely no mistake with the effort. 4 points to 1. Killashee dominant in these opening exchanges. Already it's a more flowing game than we saw in the senior encounter between Father Manning Gales and Longford Slashers beforehand. Another foul committed there, this time on the Connollys number 9, Trevor Murtha. In fact, he's gone the other way. Said he threw the ball. He's given a free out to Killashee. Taken by Michael Farrell. Killian Lee certainly seems in a more advanced position, seems to be playing in the half forward line, even though he's wearing number 5. And the mark is taken by the Killashee number 10, Willie Skelly. I don't know what's happened down there. The referee has changed his mind, and instead of allowing the mark, he gives a free to Sean Connollys. Now he's stopped play to have words with one of the Killashee players. Could be Willie Skelly. Questioning perhaps why, in fact, questioning why the mark was given and then taken away. But in any case, play will continue. Connollys in possession. Roland McGrail inside to Daniel Reynolds. Reynolds laying it off to Dara Duggan, who's brought to ground. Illegally so, says the referee. But going back to that mark, it looked as if Killashee had won a mark. The ball was kicked from outside the 45 and collected inside. But for some reason, referee Hugh O'Kane gave a free out to Sean Connollys. We'll talk to him after about that as to why he did it, but it seemed a strange call. He's now having words with the Killashee number 9, James Willis. And James Willis, after 12 minutes of the action, could be the first player booked. In fact, here is the yellow card from Hugh O'Kane. And James Willis will have to be careful for the remaining 47 or 8 minutes of this game. Another yellow, and he's gone. Daniel Reynolds looks up and kicks. That's a good looking kick from Daniel Reynolds. And that's a second score for Sean Connollys. They'll be happy to be just 2 points in arrears. They've had 3 attacks and 2 scores. And certainly keeping in touch with Killashee. Jack McGann. Back to Jack McGann once more inside towards David Buckley. Buckley over to Johnny Casey. Still Casey. Ball towards Francie Dolan. Will he get there? Thought he might, but in the end, I think he looked like he kicked it out over the end line himself, but it could have hit the ankles of one of the Sean Connollys defenders before it went out over the end line, and it has resulted in a 45-metre kick for the Killashee lads. It'll be taken by Dylan Farrell. It's more difficult than his previous kick, but he certainly has the range. He proved that. And with the left boot, one might suggest that he might be able to curl this one over. Keeping it out to the left and bringing it in from left to right. That seems to be the direction of the breeze. Let's see what happens with this one, but that's a poor kick. Didn't connect at all. Ball is held inside, however, by Dolan. Francie Dolan goes to ground. Ball breaks loose for Christinine. Back outside again to Enda McPartland. Quick movement of the ball from Killashee. Dylan Farrell looks up and shoots. Is that the range? It has indeed. That's a super kick from Dylan Farrell. Super kick, 5 points to 2. Very attractive football being played by Killashee in these opening exchanges. We're just a minute away from the water break, and Killashee much more economical going forward. In fact, going forward much more than Sean Connollys is probably the reason why they lead by 5 points to 2. Connollys have only got the ball into the opposing half on 3 occasions. They've got 2 scores for it, but they look to be playing second fiddle in quarter 1. Here come Killashee once more. Enda McPartland recycles the ball back to Johnny Casey. Casey looking for an option to kick. None there. Gives it back to James Willis. Killian Lee once more. Now, Killian Lee can run at this defence. There's no question about that. But he recycles as well to Enda McPartland. Now he's going to run. Killian Lee not making much ground. It's lateral play from Killashee, but still they're retaining possession. Johnny Casey, poor ball from Johnny. Connollys have it back. Eventually get the ball to hand. And it's Dara Duggan who comes away with it. Long, high, searching ball inside, but David Buckley did extremely well to get a hand on that. And Killashee can clear their lines once more. Jared Evans. Fist pass. Gathered by Willie Skelly. Jack McGann. Still Jack McGann, and space opening up for him, nobody going towards him. Still Jack McGann for Killashee. The man has made the run through the centre is James Willis, but he doesn't see him in time and elects to go for Willie Skelly, who loses possession, but the referee says illegally so. He said the Connollys man was a little bit rash in the challenge. That's the number 3 for Connollys, Thomas Keogh. And in fact, the referee pointing to the ground, suggesting that the ball was maybe touched on the ground by Thomas Keogh, and awards the free to Killashee, who already lead by 5 points to 2. This will perhaps be the last action of quarter 1. The kick is taken by Francie Dolan, and Francie Dolan has got his second point of the afternoon. A 6th point for St Bridget's of Killashee. 6 points to 2 in favour of Killashee, and they'll be very happy with the way things have gone in quarter 1. And in fairness, although the breeze is swirling, it certainly seemed in the senior game beforehand to suit the team playing from right to left as opposed to left to right. So Connollys would want to get themselves back into this game in quarter 2. But the referee Hugh O'Kane has brought the first quarter to its conclusion, and very shortly will blow his whistle and welcome both teams back out onto the pitch. Play will resume with a goal kick for Sean Connollys, which will be taken by Stephen Murtha. Quarter 2 about to get underway. Connollys will be hoping for a better quarter 2 than quarter 1, trailing by 6 points to 2, and basically they've been second best for most of the first quarter. Stephen Murtha kicks out, high elevation on that. It's going to be won by the Connollys number 5, Patrick Reynolds. But over on the far side of the pitch, the linesman indicating that that ball has gone out of play. Can't make out who the linesman is from here. It could be Tony Gaffney. It is Tony Gaffney. Killashee have a line ball. And Connollys varying things at the other end of the field. We'll come back to that in a moment, but Killashee in possession. Willie Skelly plays one in towards Killian Lee, but it's going to fall kindly for the Killashee number 18. That's John Lee. Well, that's a poor effort from John. Kept in play, but Connollys win possession back. Patrick Reynolds playing it out towards Conor Blessington. Back inside to Trevor Murtha. Connollys now beginning to put some passes together. Can they get a score from this attack? Again, this ball inside, and when I said they were changing things up front when Killashee were on the attack, what they've done is they've moved Dara Duggan into the full forward position. But he was unable to win that one. And Johnny Casey comes away for Killashee. Lays it off to James Willis, to Killian Lee. Over to this side towards Willie Skelly. Killashee moving the ball very well. That's a good ball inside. And it's well held, but there's no mark because he's outside. Or was he outside? But the referee has awarded the mark. It looked like he might have been slightly inside the 45 when he kicked it, but obviously referee Hugh O'Kane saw it differently, and I think he might be right on this occasion. Perhaps the kick did come from outside, but a good catch and a great score. Not sure who got it. Fancy Dolan again. He started very impressively. And whether you put down a point from a mark as a point from play or a point from a free, well, that's the debatable one. Just a mark, I suppose. But it's a mark that puts Killashee into a 5-point lead, leading by 7 points to 2. And they've started quarter 2 the way they finished quarter 1. Stephen Murtha kicks out towards the middle of the field, but again it's won by Michael Farrell, and Killashee can break quickly here. Willie Skelly lets the ball drop, lets it drop twice, and in the process of trying to get it to hands, he's touched the ball on the ground, and Connollys a lucky let off for them. Connollys' ploy is a quick ball down, and this man has been involved in everything good about them so far. Ronan McGrail plays it inside to Daniel Reynolds. Reynolds has got support outside in the form of Joe Heaney. Elects to use Joe. Joe steps inside. Still Joe Heaney. He'll shoot for a score, but that'll drop short. Pat Farrell, easy for him. And he lays the ball off to David Buckley, his full back. So Sean Connollys a little bit bereft of ideas in this first half. Killashee very, very much the better side. Johnny Casey. He's got support in the form of James Willis. Willis turns inside. Quick ball to Dylan Farrell. And this ploy of playing a quick ball inside to Dolan has worked so far, and Dolan has been magic for Killashee thus far this afternoon. That's his 4th point. 2 from play, 1 from a free and 1 from a mark. It's an 8th point for Killashee, and Connollys look outclassed in the early exchanges here. Super score from Francie Dolan, out to win possession, turned and shot. 8 points to 2, and in fairness, Killashee totally deserving of this 6-point advantage and playing some lovely football. They're going to win this kick out as well. They've won almost every kick out that Stephen Murtha has taken for Sean Connollys, and they can launch another attack. Here's Johnny Casey. Still Casey racing through the centre. Nobody able to get near him. Lays it back outside towards Dylan Farrell, who shoots. And has he got the range? No, he hasn't. Drops it short. He'll be disappointed with that one. And Killashee, I suppose you could say their dander is up, but shooting from there perhaps not the wise thing to do, particularly when there were men inside. But Dylan Farrell, his shot has dropped short, and Connollys come away with it once more. Kieran McKeown is fouled. Free kick to Sean Connollys, just around the halfway line. Inside towards Daniel Reynolds, the very impressive younger brother of Desi. The solo lets him down, but he gets possession back. He's got a man outside, Dara Duggan, who had moved full forward but has moved out again. Duggan looks up and kicks, and again, just like earlier, it stays out to the right and wide, but the referee Hugh O'Kane said there was an illegal tackle there on Duggan, and it's going to be a free to Sean Connollys, and it should be a badly needed score for the Ballinolea men. They trail by 6, 8 points to 2. Killashee better in all departments so far in this first half. We've just shy of 23 minutes on the watch. In fact, we might be just gone over it. And a chance for Daniel Reynolds to register his 2nd point, and he has done so. Good free from Reynolds. Eight points to 3. Pat Farrell takes the kick out. David Buckley gets possession back after initially not collecting. Gets it out to Jack McGann. Still Jack McGann. Jared Evans to McGann once more. McGann is a very clever player. That's a great ball to Johnny Casey, who's got acres of space in front of him. Maybe 30 or 40 yards when he received the ball, and now that space is opening up. He's got a man outside if he wants, but he elects to shoot. Johnny Casey with the shot, but that one as we said earlier, the breeze taking these efforts out to the right. That one has gone out to the right and wide. And again, there's a couple of decisions from Killashee to shoot from distance when perhaps working it in would be the better option with that swirling breeze, and they've wasted another opportunity to extend their lead, but they still lead by 8 points to 3. And as I said on a number of occasions, they're very much on top in this first half. Stephen Murtha kicks out once more, and again the kick out is won by Killashee. They're winning absolutely every kick out here this afternoon, and if you can't win your own kick out, you're going to be under enormous pressure. That's what's happening to Sean Connollys. James Willis plays it into Keelan Cox, who I think may have touched it on the ground. Referee agrees with me. Free kick to Sean Connollys. 5 points between them, 8 points to 3. David Buckley tries to get a hand on that, but he did, says the linesman Mickey Farrell. A little bit of banter between the two, and the line ball is to Connollys. It's taken by Dara Duggan. Plays it back to Kieran McKeown. Dangerous looking ball from McKeown, but Des Reynolds unable to get his hands on that, and Des Reynolds has gone back into full forward. And it's a strange decision. I know I've said it already, but playing Des Reynolds at full forward when you're struggling to win your own kickouts is a very strange call from Sean Connollys. They're obviously hoping to get ball into him. It's not happening, and yet they persist in leaving him there. Here's Keelan Cox to Killian Lee. Killian Lee has got serious pace, as I said, and he's made about 30-40 yards with the ball already. Still Killian Lee racing through the centre. It's opening up for him. He elects to go back to Dylan Farrell, back to Willie Skelly, and that's a poor effort again. 3 that have dropped short now from Killashee in the last 3 minutes. Chances to extend their lead not been taken. Sean Connollys persisting with this long ball to McGrail, and McGrail in fairness has won 3 now that have been kicked to him. 3 out of 3. Plays a high ball in again towards Reynolds. Knocked down by Reynolds. Chance. Desi to his brother Daniel. Back to Desi once more. It should and could have been a goal for Sean Connollys, and that one's gone out to the right and wide. It looked like Reynolds might have been fouled in the process of kicking, but that's why they're playing Desi Reynolds full forward, putting the ball in, hoping he can either gather possession or knock it down. This time he knocks it down for his brother Daniel, and Daniel, very unfortunate to see his effort hit the right hand upright, our left as we look. And then when the ball broke out to Desi once more, he looked to be fouled, but he kicked the ball wide. Here's James Willis. This one is dealt with. And now Connollys beginning to get to grips inside with the Killashee attack, forcing them to shoot from distance. Here's Joe Heaney. 65 out. That ball again towards Desi Reynolds. Again he knocks it down, but only as far as the impressive Keelan Cox. He's swept up a lot of dangerous ball for Killashee in this first half. 3 minutes plus stoppages to go to half time. Killian Lee plays a quick 1-2 with his midfield teammate Michael Farrell, but the ball inside was poor, easily dealt with by Thomas Keogh, and Sean Connollys can build again. Dara Duggan, referee has spotted something, not sure what it was. He's having words with the Sean Connollys number 4, John McKenna, and he's penalised McKenna for an incident off the ball. Ball is played inside to Francie Dolan once more. He dummied with one boot and kicked with the other, but it's gone to the right and wide, and that breeze is very difficult to measure. And kicking with the left foot from the left side with a swirling breeze also facing you makes the kick much more difficult. And again, Killashee wasteful. They've had 4 shots that have dropped short or gone harmlessly wide in the last 5 minutes. If they'd taken 1 or 2 of those chances, they'd be more than 5 points in front, but they'll be happy to lead by 8 points to 3. Kick out again, and again Killashee win the Connollys kick out. Remarkable to think that Connollys aren't looking for anything quick in terms of kick out. It's just kicked out to midfield in the hope of winning ball, but Killashee have the fielders. Dylan Farrell, is he fouled? Referee says he overcarries, and he gives the free out to Sean Connollys, and Connollys want the ball, and Dylan Farrell isn't willing to release it, and A little bit of handbag stuff going on there, and in the end Hugh O'Kane sorts it by moving the ball forward and making Connollys' task a little bit easier in terms of launching an attack. Here's Daniel Reynolds. He's been very impressive in this first half for Sean Connollys. So a late boot there from David Buckley, and that could be a booking for Buckley. Certainly a ticking. But in fairness, it's not a case of persistent fouling. Really, that's Buckley's first infringement this afternoon, but there was a boot there. He may just get a ticking, maybe not a yellow card. We'll see very shortly. Hugh O'Kane, however, brandishes the yellow once more. And the free kick to Sean Connollys will be taken by Daniel Reynolds. It's about 46, 47 metres out from goal. So it's well within his range because he doesn't have to deal with a breeze. That's a lovely kick from Reynolds. Is it going to curl in? Enough. Indeed it is. A super kick from Daniel Reynolds. He's got 3 of the Connollys points so far this afternoon. That perhaps his best effort. All 3 from frees to add to Stephen Lynch's score. And all of a sudden, where Killashee could be 6, 7, 8 points in front, there's only 4 between them, 8 points to 4, and Sean Connollys will definitely be the happier of the two sides if they can go in at half time just 4 points in arrears, because they've been outplayed for huge periods in this first half. Here's Darragh Duggan, good burst from the centre back. He moved full forward a few moments ago. He's back out to his more customary position once more. Referee says he didn't overcarry. Ball is played inside once more towards Trevor Murtha. Still Trevor Murtha. And in the end, he said that Murtha overcarries. And I suppose he let them away with it once. He wasn't going to let them away with it twice. And Sean Connollys with their latest attack, it comes to nothing. And Killashee get possession in the form of free, which they've taken quickly. Johnny Casey plays a 1-2. Still Johnny Casey. Good looking ball inside towards Chris Dineen. There's a runner off. It's James Willis. Willis back to Dolan, who's normally accurate. Plays it back to Dineen once more, who shoots. And Dineen has scored his first point of the afternoon. But that's a very important score for Killashee because they had been dominant, not taking their chances. You can just see the ball laid inside to Francie Dolan, who just laid it out again to Dineen. And the ball kicked over the bar by Chris Dineen, and that indeed is all the action from the first half here. A very entertaining first half of football, very good football, particularly from Killashee, moving the ball very fast. But the big talking point in this first half that Sean Connollys will have to contend with is their own kick-out. They've had about 12, 13, 14 kick-outs in this half, and they've only won 2 of their own possessions. So 9 points to 4 at half time in favour of Killashee. Let's take a look back at some of the highlights. That was a great kick from Dylan Farrell from the 45 metre line. That was early in the first half. But Killashee constantly on the attack, it seemed, for long periods in that first half. That was Jack McGann turning and shooting to extend their lead in that first half. But Killian Lee also landing a super score. And really Killashee were totally dominant for long periods. This is Francie Dolan out winning ball. Little quick jink, looked up and shot, and probably the score of the half from Francie Dolan. But in fairness to Sean Connollys, they had a great chance of a goal. Desi Reynolds knocking it down to his brother Daniel, and the shot coming back off the bottom left-hand upright. Back out to Desi Reynolds, and his second attempt, although he looked to be fouled, it went to the right and wide. But Killashee weren't finished yet, and the ball laid there from Dolan to Dineen, who scored the 9th point of the half for Killashee. And that's why at half-time here they lead 9 points to 4. They've been much the better side. They have 1 foot in the intermediate final, and they'll be looking to put that 2nd foot in during the second half. Good start for them. Half-time here, St. Bridget's 9 points, Sean Connollys 4 points. We'll be back in about 6 or 7 minutes with second half action. and shot and found the range. Yes, welcome back, and another point for Sean Connollys. I'm sorry for the break in play. We had some camera difficulties. It's now 10 points to St. Bridget's, 1-5 to Sean Connollys. Just 2 between them. We're 6 minutes into the second half, and Sean Connollys really have started the second half in great fashion. A goal from Daniel Reynolds, a point from his brother Desi. All of a sudden there's just 2 points between them. 10 points to 1-5. Killashee go on the attack. A little bit of excitement coming into this game in this third quarter. We badly needed it. It was one-way traffic in the first half. Still Killashee twisting and turning and shooting, and in the end it's shot over the bar by Willie Skelly. His first point of the afternoon, a very important score for the Killashee men. But you can see again the ball breaking out towards Skelly, who turned and shot and found the range, and now all of a sudden Killashee, although have got their first point of the second half, they're only 3 points in front, 11 points to 1-5. In fact, it's their second point of the second half. But that goal for Sean Connollys has certainly brought them back into this game. Here come Killashee once more. Jared Evans, however, referee says he threw that ball. It's a free out. Free out to Sean Connollys. Referee okay, not happy. Wants the ball brought forward again. Sean Connollys, again Keelan Cox gets there first. So tight and so tenacious is the number 2 for Killashee. Plays it inside towards Willie Skelly. Skelly to Killian Lee. He's got David Buckley outside if he wants him, but he elects to go inside and then on towards Willie Skelly. Skelly has Buckley if he wants him. Goes outside, however, for Dylan Farrell, but the referee says that the Killashee man took too many steps. Free is taken quickly, and here comes Daniel Reynolds for Sean Connollys. He's a real fine footballer, is Reynolds, and Connollys really have upped their game since half time. Plays the ball inside to Joe Heaney. Out comes Pat Farrell, but the referee will bring it back. The goalkeeper was very brave there, Pat Farrell. He did win clean possession. He thinks he has a free, but it's going back for a free to Sean Connollys, because in fairness to the referee, Hugh O'Kane, he did have his hand held aloft and no advantage accrued. So he's back for the free. Ding-dong battle in store now for the remainder here. Eight minutes into the second half, and a chance for Sean Connollys to narrow that gap. 11 to 1-5 currently. And if Daniel Reynolds can score his latest effort, there'll only be 2 between the sides. And do you know, with all the effort and energy that Killashee have expended in that first half, Connollys should have plenty in the tank for the remaining 20 minutes here. And we could be in for a very, very tight encounter. Daniel Reynolds still standing over the free because attention has been given to his teammate, the number 11, Joe Heaney, just slightly to the right of the action. He's back on his feet. The physios leave the field, and Daniel Reynolds with a chance to narrow the gap to 2. Takes a little bit of a run, turns and shoots. He's deadly accurate. He's now got 1 goal and 4 points this afternoon. 4 points from frees and a goal from play. 1-4 out of his side's 1-6. He has been the most influential forward on the pitch this afternoon, not just from his side, but perhaps in total. Pat Farrell, kick out, allowed to be won by Killashee. Johnny Casey plays a 1-2, and all of a sudden Killashee have got the ball in the opposing half of the field. Johnny Casey still racing through the centre. He's pulled to ground, surely. Referee agrees with me. Trevor Murtha, the guilty party, and it might be a little bit far out to suggest a score. Number 10, Eugene Murtha, in for number 20, is it?
12.
Number 12, Conor Blessington. So it's Eugene Murtha who was selected to start. He's now on. Connollys have the ball back. A wasted free for Killashee. Connollys want to take it quickly, but the referee not having any of it. Just going over to sort things out is Hugh O'Kane. He's doing a fine job this afternoon, in fairness to the Longford Slashers man. Certainly not affecting the scoreboard, and that's the important thing from a referee's perspective. Kieran McKeown plays it inside once more. Number 19 is in for Sean Connollys. That's Sean Kenny. It's not number 10, Eugene Murtha. We thought the 9 was a 0. So 19 is in. 12 is out. This is 19. Sean Kenny. Back to John McKenna. Desi Reynolds. He'll turn on the afterburners now, and he gets away from a couple of players as if they weren't there. It's still Desi Reynolds, plays it inside once more towards the busy number 19, Sean Kenny. Covered a lot of ground. Back to Joe Heaney. That's blocked down. Easy for Enda McPartner, who lets it drop. Chance of a goal! It should have been a goal. It should have been a goal. The jersey was pulled. The flag has been waved to signal a point, but the jersey was definitely pulled. However, it was Enda McPartland who gave the ball away. The jersey was pulled, but it may have been outside the larger parallelogram. But in any case, the point stands. It could so easily have been a penalty, but the point stands, and all of a sudden, just a point between the sides. Not sure who got that score for Sean Connollys, but it is a score. We're going to give it to Joe Heaney for now. In fact, it was Trevor Murtha who got that score. And thanks to Steve back in studio. Second set of eyes, or maybe a third set of eyes. I also have a set of eyes beside me here. But Killashee have the kick out. David Buckley. Loads of space for Keelan Cox. Makes his way into the opposing half of the field. Lays it off to Killian Lee. Cox is looking for the return pass, but he's not going to get it. Might get it yet. Killian Lee. Johnny Casey, back to Killian Lee once more. Good looking ball from Killian Lee to Willie Skelly, laid off to Dylan Farrell. Dylan cuts through the centre, lays it off again, and in the end Jared Evans wasn't able to get to that one, and Connollys can break away once more. You'd have to fancy Connollys at this stage. They only trailed by 1. They were 6 points in arrears and very much out of this game. They trailed by 9 points to 4 at half time. However, they contrived to lose possession. Killashee have it back. Michael Farrell was carrying a bit of a knock into today's game, but not showing any after effects and playing well. Into Francie Dolan. Lovely turn from Dolan. Turns from one to the other and kicks. So that's a super kick from Dolan. Brilliant kick from Francie Dolan. And I know I said that Daniel Reynolds was the most influential forward on the pitch, but this man is certainly going toe-to-toe with him. Francie Dolan gets his 5th point of the afternoon. Daniel Reynolds has scored 1-4. Eugene Murtha is now in for number 20, Ronan McGrail.
Oh, Killashee.
Maybe it's not Desi or Eugene Murtha that's in. Apologies. It's a Killashee stub. Number 20, Mark Rossiter, replaces number 10, Willie Skelly. I think that's what they've done. Or we'll certainly confirm that in a couple of moments. But 20 is in, Mark Rossiter. Killian Lee is fouled. And despite the referee's whistle being sounded, both players keep going at it. But play will resume with that free, and it's taken quickly. Jack McGann racing through the centre. Could fall for Johnny Casey. It does so. Back to Jack McGann once more. Into the centre towards the number 12, Dylan Farrell. What a block. Referee said, or the number 12 for Killashee, Dylan Farrell, thought there was something illegal there. Referee not having any of it. Sean Connollys come away with possession once more. Ball is played inside towards the number 20. I thought he was off the pitch. He's not. Ronan McGrail. He's been impressive in fairness. He's won quality ball for Connollys on the 40. Ball is booted in by Daniel Reynolds towards Joe Heaney, and now Heaney is getting a yard on his man, and he gets there ahead of the number 18, John Lee. Still Heaney turns inside and shoots, and it's gone to the right and wide, but the referee had his hand held high, and I think he's going to award a free in to the Connollys men, and I think it's John Lee who's been penalised. The Killashee, number 18, accused of pulling back the Connollys man, and the referee Hugh O'Kane pointing to where the incident happened. And it will be a free for Sean Connollys and a chance for Daniel Reynolds to get his 5th point of the afternoon to add to his second half goal. 12 points to 1-7 is the current scoreline here. We'll very shortly have the 3-quarter water break. Reynolds gains a lot of yards by stepping inside and makes easy work of this latest effort. 1-5 for him now. And the sides are level, remarkably. Now the scoreboard tells us differently. Maybe there's a point in it to Killashee. Maybe it is 12 points to 1-8. It is in fact 12 points to 1-8, so 1 point between them. Killian Lee plays it out towards Dylan Farrell. Plays a 1-2. Farrell has it back. There's a man inside. Poor ball, however, towards Mark Rossiter, who turns and shoots. Should have done so much better, but the ball to Rossiter was a poor ball, in fairness. Sean Kenny inside towards Gregory Masterson. It's now with Kieran McKeown. Into the centre towards Desi Reynolds. Reynolds has come much more into the game in the second half, and it's making a huge difference to Sean Connollys' performance. He's out, winning ball around the middle of the field, which was suggested in the first half. He's made a lot of ground with this one. Back into McGrail. McGrail still has possession. Turns and shoots, and he's got the equalising score. Very good score from Ronan McGrail. Sides are level. 12 points for Killashee, 1-9 for Sean Connollys. Let's have a look at that again. McGrail just stepping inside, and when he got the opportunity to shoot under close quarters, he managed to squeeze it inside the right hand upright. And there is the whistle for the end of quarter 3. 47 minutes on the watch, so we'll have 13 plus stoppages when time resumes. And Connollys, what a quarter for them. They really were playing second fiddle in the first half. They trailed by 9 points to 4 at half time. It looked one-way traffic. It looked all over. It looked like Killashee were marching on to a final, and in that final they were hoping to play Ardham Moydu, but it's a different game now. We're at the 3-quarter stage, and Connollys, who were so poor in the first half, have been outstanding in quarter 3, and now the sides are level. It's the Bridgets of Killashee 12 points, Sean Connollys 1-9, and all of a sudden Connollys much more urgency about them. Took a very quick water break there. They're back on the field, and play will resume with a kick out for Pat Farrell, the Killashee netminder, following that latest score, a first score of the day for Ronan McGrail. The sides are level. Referee not happy. Wants to have words with somebody at the other end of the field. But Hugh O'Kane walking in towards, I think it's one of the Killashee men. Not entirely certain what's going on. He's having words with Chris Deneen. But play will resume with the kick out for Killashee, and it's taken quickly to Johnny Casey. Casey plays it on towards John Lee. Back to Johnny Casey once more. Casey very fit, very fast. Just made some great bursts for Killashee this afternoon. Still Johnny Casey. Gets it back from Keelan Cox and plays it into Michael Farrell. Michael Farrell laying it off once more towards the number 12, Dylan Farrell, who's pulled, says the referee Hugh O'Kane, and a chance for Killashee to go back 1 point in front. And certainly Killashee will rue so many missed chances in that first half. They dropped 3 or 4 balls short into the hands of Stephen Murtha, the Sean Connollys goalkeeper. But since half time, Killashee have been under enormous pressure, and Connollys have really upped their game. It's level here in Glennon Brothers Pearse Park, 12 points to 1-9, and things not going the way of Chris Deneen on this occasion. He kicks a wide as we move towards the 50-minute mark. Still plenty of time left here for both sides. Another change on the Killashee team. Number 21, Mel Shanley, replaces number 15, Jared Evans. Connollys have again in the middle of the park. Ball is played and laid off towards the number 9, Trevor Murtha. In fact, it's 19. That's Sean Kenny. It's now with Desi Reynolds, and a chance for Reynolds to run at Johnny Casey and to run at Jack McGann. Surely he's pulled back. The referee has his hand up. That'll be a free. It's gone wide, but he'll bring it back for the free. And Desi Reynolds is starting to make that difference. That difference that we talked about in the first half. Playing him in isolation at full forward when they couldn't get the ball past midfield was a poor move on behalf of Seamus Quinn and his selectors for Sean Connollys. But they have now got things right. Reynolds much more involved in the action, playing a little further from goal, perhaps somewhere between midfield and the half-forward line, but he's made such an impact in this second half. And between him and his brother, Connollys are right back in it. And that latest kick from their number 8, Stephen Lynch. And that puts Sean Connollys into the lead for the first time here this afternoon. They lead 110 to 12 points. Let's see what Killashee have left in the tank. Pat Farrell takes the kick out, dropped by Keelan Cox, but he gets it back. Ball is played inside towards Michael Farrell. John Lee, Killian Lee. He's got a man outside him if he wants him. Johnny Casey. Back to Killian Lee. Bursts through the centre, gets a bounce in, looks up and shoots, but again, kept in play by Connollys. But the referee says, the umpire said, in fact, that the ball had gone out over the end line. If that's the case, it should be a goal kick, because it was kicked by a Killashee man, and I don't think Murtagh carried it out over the line. But the umpire, it's not Robbie Stakelum, it's the umpire on the far side. Robbie Stakelum on the near side didn't have any say in that. But whoever the umpire is on the far side decided that Stephen Murtagh had caught and carried the ball out over the line, and a chance for Killashee to get back on level terms. Sean Connollys 110. That's a total of 13. Killashee 12. If you said to me at half time that Connollys would lead with 10 minutes to go, well, maybe a little less, 52 on the watch, I wouldn't have believed you. Dylan Farr with the kick. Again, low trajectory on it, easily dealt with by Sean Connollys. Their number 5, Patrick Reynolds. Played inside to Kieran McKeown. The foul there on Dara Duggan, but the referee had his hand up and he's now taking it down, and Connollys come away with possession once more. Trevor Murtagh, he's come much more into the game in the second half. Into Daniel Reynolds, the impressive Daniel Reynolds, busy all day. Plays a decent looking ball inside towards Joe Heaney. He looked like he picked it off the ground. Referee says no. Heaney turns, Heaney shoots, and Connollys go into a 2-point lead. This is a superb second half performance from Sean Connollys. 7 minutes left on the watch. Now you can see there, I thought that maybe Heaney had picked the ball up off the ground, but when he got it back to his hands, he looked up, he saw the posts, and he put the ball between them. And Connollys now lead by 2, and they're making mistakes all over the field. This time they get away with it. It's with Jack McGann. He's racing through the centre. The number 19 lays it off, but the referee says let's bring it back for a free. And Sean Connollys can scarcely believe, I'd say, that they're leading by 2, 111 to 12 points. They were awful, nothing short of awful in the first half, but they've been superb since half time. And Killashee, despite not being as bad perhaps as Connollys were in that first half, they find themselves all of a sudden 2 points in arrears, and they'll struggle to come out of this one with a place in the county final. There's a yellow card, I think it's for the Connollys, number 19, Sean Kenny. It is indeed. Killian Lee will take the free for Killashee. There are 2 Connollys men down. One is just tying his lace, but the other man receiving attention. And again, Connollys will be quite content to run down the clock. It's Sean O'Sullivan who's receiving the attention. And it just allows the clock to run all of a sudden. We're in the 55th minute. But there should be maybe 8 or 9 minutes to play here if we include all breaks and stoppages and injuries. But can Killashee respond? That's the question. Killian Lee. Still Killian Lee. Looking for support, but there's none there for him. Still Killian Lee. He's gone laterally across the field once more. And now he finds a pass to James Willis. Lots of space for Willis to look up and shoot. And Willis has put it over. Vital score. His first point of the afternoon. 111 to 13 points. And we can see that eventually when the ball went to James Willis, he just stepped inside his man, looked up and shot. But Killian Lee had possession for a long time there before anything happened for Killashee. There was very little movement, and eventually Willis got into a forward position, received the pass and scored to bring Killashee back to within a point. But Connollys still leading by 1. Let's see what have Killashee got left in the tank. Killian Lee, that's a super ball from Killian Lee. Plays it towards Mark Rossiter, who could have taken the mark. He elects to shoot, and he scored. He has scored a super score from Mark Rossiter. The number 20 for Killashee has levelled matters here, and in the blink of an eye, Connollys look to be pushing on, leading by 2 points, but in the blink of an eye, Killashee have scored twice, and now the sides are level again. It's St. Bridget's 14 points, Sean Connollys 111, and we may have missed the first minute of the second half, but certainly we've made up for it since then. Now remember, if the sides are still level at the end of normal time, we'll have 15 minutes aside of extra time. Let's see what happens. Johnny Casey receiving that ball from David Buckley. Buckley's been very solid and impressive at the back for Killashee. Michael Farrell. Killashee still have it. There's a man free inside if he can look up quick enough, but he doesn't. Dylan Farrell is still chasing towards goal. Ball eventually with Francie Dolan. He's got support outside. Enda McPartland. Back to Dolan once more. To Jack McGann. Inside to Dylan Farrell. Ball played in, and the referee says no foul. Said it was a bad pass. Connollys come away with it. Jack McGann thought he had won it back. Connollys have it. Kieran McKeown. Level game here. 14 points to 111. And the referee awarding a free out to the Connollys men, and he might even bring that a further 10 yards out. In fact, it's more than 10. It's gone about 30. Connollys told to bring it back. Ding dong closing stages here. I'd say we still have probably 6 or 7 minutes left of the action. As the number 19, Sean Kenny for Connollys, plays the ball back. Kieran McKeown wearing 13, but helping out his defence in this second half. He's lost possession. Killashee have it back now. Can they take a free kick quickly? The referee says no. He wants to take some action, and he's going to have a word with the Connollys number 13, Kieran McKeown, who had possession and lost it, and he knows he's wrong. What action will the referee Hugh O'Kane take here? Yellow card. And now the referee Hugh O'Kane speaking with Tony Gaffney, the linesman on this near side. Not sure what action he's going to take. None. Maybe it was a time check, I'm not just sure. John Lee to Killian Lee. To Johnny Casey. Loads of space on that right hand side for Casey to cut in. Plays the ball inside again. Chance of a lead score. It's going to drop short. Coley lets it drop. It's gone into the net. It's gone into the net. A goal for Killashee, scored by Mark Rossiter. The goalkeeper let it spill, and the Killashee man was there, Mark Rossiter I think it was, who got the final touch. And Rossiter had missed a glorious chance earlier on for Killashee, but he's now scored 1-1. You can see there that scramble, that Murta, the ball bounced off his chest and it fell kindly for Rossiter, who palmed the ball home, and all of a sudden Killashee, who trailed by 2 just 3 minutes ago, they now lead by 3. They've scored 1-2 without reply, and surely now they'll go on and see out this game. Mark Rossiter, the goal scorer, is confirmed. And Stephen Murta will be very, very disappointed. The player down, not sure who it is, but he's got a kick to the head. We saw that in the replay. Referee Hugh O'Kane in having words with his umpires. And on this near side, Robbie Stakelin would have been closer to the action, but both would have been certainly close enough. Yeah, I think we'll have another look at it if possible. I think it could be Francie Dolan. You can just see the ball going in. Goalkeeper lets it drop. Roster gets a hand on it, and then there was connection to Francie Dolan, and he mightn't be up too quickly. Killashee are warming up a substitute. Thanks to Steve for giving us another look at that. And referee Hugh O'Kane signalling to the sideline that Killashee will have to introduce a substitute because Francie Dolan will take no further part. Not sure just yet who's going to replace him. There is a man on the field for Killashee. If he turns around, we'll see his number and we'll be able to tell you who he is. But Francie Dolan will play no further part. It's number 26, Erla Dolan. Erla, who also is a dual player, plays a bit of hurling. And he's actually a nephew of Jared Evans, believe it or not, his teammate who wears 15, but Jared Evans no longer on the pitch. Great catch in the centre of the field by Michael Farr. Lays it back to Keelan Cox, to Killian Lee. Killashee have done very well. It looked a very adverse position for them a few moments ago, but they've worked it well. They've got a goal and 2 points. Referee says there's a foul. It'll be a free if we move into stoppage time, but there should be plenty. It's a free to Killashee, just about halfway between the 45 and the 65, so it's 55 metres out from goal. And a chance for Killian Lee to set up another attack. Plays the ball inside. Looked like a push in the back. Looked like another push in the back. It's the number 21, Mel Shanley, on the field a few minutes. He does well, but when you bounce the ball, you got to bring it with you. And then Shanley fouls the Connollys number 5, Patrick Reynolds, who reacts by aggressively pushing Mel Shanley to the ground. The free will definitely, I'm sure, be cancelled as a result of that. But what action will the referee take? And just let's have a look at that again. You can see Shanley bounced the ball. He left it behind him. Reynolds picked up possession, and then Shanley was rough in the tackle, in fairness. But Reynolds then lashing out. And now it looked more of a push than a punch, but there was aggression in it. It'll be interesting to see what action the referee takes. He shoved him, so the free has been cancelled. Ball is thrown up between one from each side, but Connollys, they come away with it, but they've made another error. They give the ball back to Jack McGann, who's fouled. And Killashee, leading by 3, should be able to see this one out. We're deep in stoppage time, 63 minutes on the watch. Might be 2 left, max. Ball is played over to this near side towards John Lee. John playing a defensive role this afternoon and doing quite well. Johnny Casey, he's been very solid at the back for Killashee and has forayed forward on numerous occasions. Not a great pass from Johnny, but he gets it back. And Keelan Cox, the unsung hero for Killashee, plays it towards Enda McPartland. McPartland didn't know what to do with it, and possession is back with Sean Connollys. Kieran McKeown inside towards Sean Kenny. Couple of hits there from Keelan Cox and Jack McGann, and a free awarded to the Connollys men, which will be brought forward. Almost 64 minutes gone on the watch here. Yellow card, I think, for Jack McGann. Indeed it is. I wonder, has Hugh O'Kane any yellows left? He's issued quite a few this afternoon. Ball is played out towards the far side. Possession is lost. Connollys have it back. Ball is played into the centre. Out comes Pat Farrell, the goalkeeper. Goes to ground. Referee says no free. Eugene Murtha trying to win it back there for Connollys, but I think that one has trickled out harmlessly over the end line. That'll be a wide, and that should be enough for Killashee, because even if Sean Connollys were to score a goal, we'd have extra time, but there's no sign of a goal coming. So Killashee, I think, will see this one out. They lead by 3, 114 to 111. Referee Hugh O'Kane has his whistle in his mouth. Pat Farrell takes the kick out. Ball is knocked down, but it's won by Sean Kenny. Now, can Connollys get a goal? Can they level matters here? Sean O'Sullivan plays it inside. It's going to break for Desi Reynolds. He's going to have to score a goal, but he scores a point. It was a rasper from Reynolds, but it was just a little too high and over Pat Farrell's crossbar. Only two between them, 114 to 112. Scoreboard tells us it's 114 to 111, but I think the scoreboard is wrong. And now Connollys, if they can get a goal, they can win this match. But how much time will referee Hugh O'Kane add on? We're deep into stoppages. Connollys have it once more. Ball is played into the centre towards Patrick Reynolds. Reynolds to Eugene Murtha. Stephen Lynch. Eventually with Kieran McKeown. They need to launch one in. McKeown does just that, launches it in, but there are a lot of Killashee men under this one, and one of them is that man we spoke about so many times, but last week and this week, Keelan Cox, very tidy corner back for Killashee, clears his lines. Here comes Killian Lee. Still got energy and pace at this stage of the game, but it doesn't matter because there is the final whistle. And certainly at half-time, one would have said that Killashee would go on and win this game easy. They had the breeze favouring them in the second half, but they contrived to make many errors. Connollys really upped their game in the second half and took the lead and led by 2. They led 111 to 12 points, but 1-2 late on from Killashee has seen them advance to the intermediate final. Let's take a look back at some of the highlights this afternoon. Killashee now go on to play Ardamaidu. But in that first half, there was really no doubt about the dominance of the Killashee men. But certainly a different game in the second half. Connollys coming much more into it with a goal from Daniel Reynolds. But Killashee kept plugging away, kept finding scores. That was the effort from Joe Heaney. That was the equalising point from Heaney. That made it, I suppose it left us in for a ding-dong finish. But in fairness to Killashee, when they were 2 points down and things looked bad for them, they responded. That, in fact, was Heaney's score there. That put them in front. But there was still more to happen at the other end of the field. That was James Willis. That was a vital kick for him and for his side to get them back on the scoreboard and back into contention. But the real score, the real decisive score, was the goal that was scored by Mark Rossiter. And we'll take a look at that now. The ball going in to the danger zone. Murtha, it seemed, it bounced off his chest. Rossiter got a hand to it, flicked it home. Francie Dolan was injured in what ensued. But for Killashee, it was the goal that proved the difference between the sides. That goal from substitute Mark Rossiter, who also scored a point from play after being introduced in the second half. And his goal is the reason why Killashee have advanced to this final, because when it looked that they were dead and buried, he popped up and flicked the ball home to put Killashee into a 3-point lead, and they held on by 2 in the end. It's Ardamaidu versus St Bridget's Killashee in this year's Milady Group Intermediate Football Championship Final. Thanks again to Future Ticketing, our sponsors. Ollie was on camera this afternoon. Also thanks to Steve in studio. But for myself, Benny O'Brien, we leave you here from Glennon Brothers Pierce Park, remembering that the senior quarter final between Mullinachta and Columkill is still to come at 5:30 this evening, but we leave you with the final score on screen, and you can see it's St Bridget's of Killashee who will play Ardamaidu in the final. St Bridget's 114, Sean Connollys 112.